Well, hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. This is Brandon from Free State, Colorado. Hope you're having a great start to 2025. And I really want to encourage you to get involved, to be active this year. 2025 can be a massive year for liberty. We're growing this community, we're more organized than ever, we're moving in the right direction. You can sit back, you can watch the world burn, you can flee, you can run. Eventually, you're going to have to fight. If you can fight here, join us in this fight. There's two main reasons I'd say why you need to get involved, why people should really feel motivated this year to have an impact, to get in the fight. One, you can win. Now, don't get me wrong, Colorado's not going to change overnight. That's for sure. It took a long time for us to get this way, but wins are possible. Just look at 2024. Look at some of the victories here. This is from another slide from another video I did. But look at this. Colorado's now a 50-50 split in our congressional representation. For a state that's often dismissed as this deep blue, hopeless place, we have half Republicans, half Democrats. Pretty balanced, right? Democrats lost their supermajority in the House, and they are prevented from gaining a supermajority in the Senate this election cycle. That is huge. I'll talk more about those impacts in another video, but nonetheless, huge victory. Some really bad ballot measures were stopped. Some bad ones passed, don't get me wrong, but some really bad ballot measures were stopped. Pueblo flipped from blue to red. Now it's not surprising looking at 2016, they voted for Trump then, didn't go that way in 2020, but nonetheless shows that these counties there can be movement, there can be change, right? Weld is now more red than ever, reddest county in the state. And new Liberty leaders emerged during this 2024 election. There's a whole new crop of people getting involved, getting in the fight. We got to take advantage of these opportunities, right? The second reason is the stakes are high. I hope you stay in Colorado. I hope you get in the fight. Hope we continue to move the ball forward here. We know the stakes are high. We know how bad things can get. I don't need to spend too much time telling you how bad it is in our state sometimes and how bad it's been in the past. I mean, here we go. Now we have a new sponsored bills coming out to take away our guns, to ban the purchase of certain types of guns that the politicians don't like, disarming us, totally violating our rights as individuals. The politicians in Denver have no problem doing that. Look at what happened in Arapahoe and Jefferson County. They raised taxes. They took away your taxpayer Bill of Rights protections this election cycle. So although we had some wins, there were some really bad losses as well. And it means more money out of your paycheck, more money out of your wallet. Look at what happened in Jefferson County schools just recently here. I mean, the scandals are endless, but nonetheless, you have one of the top administrative members killing himself, potentially involved in some really inappropriate behavior with children, potentially involved in possession of some stuff that I don't even want to get into, but bad stuff. And look back at COVID. I mean, this is the reality, folks. This is not that long ago. We can't forget what they did to us, what these people are capable of. If these political authoritarians want to deprive us of our rights, they want to shut down our businesses, try and lock us in their homes, they're going to try. The only thing that'll stop them is organized resistance, organized opposition. And this is true in Colorado. It's true everywhere in the country. Get organized and let's get started this year. Because remember in 2020 when they were forcing people to get injections if you didn't want one just to keep your job, to go to work. You're going to be banished out of society if you didn't get this medical injection that they wanted to give you. They're shutting down counties, level red, all of these things. I mean, it was a nightmare. It was a total authoritarian, dystopic nightmare. We can never let that happen again. Those are the stakes. And who knows, maybe it's going to be your apartment, your neighborhood, where you have gang members coming in, totally doing what they want, taking over, kidnapping people, kicking indoors, causing serious issues. So the stakes are high, right? Don't need to really spend too much more time on that. The reality is, folks, these politicians are predators who are taking advantage of your family. That's the reality. They want to take away your rights. They want to raise your taxes, take more money out of your wallet. They want to have influence over your children, over your family. I mean, you have politicians, oftentimes on both sides of the aisle, arguing over how they should spend your money, how they should control your life. And it's going to continue unless we do something about it, unless we get involved, unless we get organized here. You got to think about it. We're so used to taxes. We're so conditioned to just accept it. But the reality is, every penny, every dollar, every amount of money that they steal from you just means you have to work more, spend more time away from your family, the longer it takes before you can retire. Taxation is theft 110%. The more they take, the harder you have to work, the longer you have to work. It's not a good situation. I mean, just think about every day when you leave your family, you go to work, You leave your passions, your hobby, your house, and how much of that money is taken out of your paycheck? How much of that money is taken by these greedy politicians for their little pet projects? Enough is enough, right? If you could keep the money they tax, you could retire sooner. You could spend more time pursuing your dreams and enjoy your family. I mean, that's the reality of it here, folks. But I got to say, I'm an optimist. I think there's a lot of hope in the future. I think a better world is possible, and in a world where there's more wealth, it's more open, there's more freedom. By that is what I mean. It's more advanced because we have this capital accumulation where we can invest in higher order capital goods to create new things. I mean, just imagine what life could be like if you got to keep all the money in your paycheck. If the government didn't regulate the businesses, hurting employers, if we actually had schools that educated people instead of indoctrinated them. Imagine the society we can live in if people just were a little bit more involved. That's the reality of it. If we had access to cheap, high quality food that the government wasn't trying to take away from us. Reality is things can be a lot better. I mean, just look at the change that occurred in your life. I mean, I think about my grandparents and the changes they saw. I mean, nothing is fixed. People say things are always going to be this way. Well, they're not. I mean, change is reality. Change can happen. So one of the main goals, how do we get there? How do we get to this society, this better place? Well, we got to put more money in your wallet. I mean, that's the big thing. People had more money to invest, more money to spend, more money not stolen by the government. We can be in a much better place. But it's a lot of it is this impoverishment by politicians that causes such a major issue. So how can we do it? Well, we got to do everything we can to eliminate as many taxes as possible, eliminate unnecessary taxes, and we do need sound money. I mean, that's the reality of it. And don't get me wrong, these are big, lofty goals, but nonetheless, we got to have an idea of where we want to go if we want to get there. What about making our town safe, making it a safer place where you can raise your family, where wouldn't feel worried if you accidentally left your door unlocked or left your car windows down? I mean, this is the kind of place I want to live. High trust society. So how do we get there? I mean, the first step is you got to stop the criminals. You got to stop the bad guys. Having more trained gun owners. That's a very achievable goal, I think. But also, it's not going to be easy. If you're interested in being committed to this long-term goal of trying to make a free state of Colorado, then please let me know. Like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. It took the authoritarian left decades to get them where they are now, to put us where we're at now, and it's a disaster on so many levels. So if you're dedicated to the long haul, it can make a real difference. I guarantee you, the people on the authoritarian left are dedicated to the long haul. They've been doing it for decades. They're going to do it for decades more unless you get organized, unless the liberty community, the liberty movement makes some traction. So where do you start? Well, I'd say show up. That's the first step. You got to know what's going on. You got to have some information, some intelligence, because information is power. So you show up at your city council meetings. It's not glamorous. It's not a lot of fun. You'd probably rather be doing something else. But you have to understand your community. You have to understand the political leadership in your community. You have to go out and meet people too. If you can find like-minded, liberty-minded individuals who believe in freedom and liberty, then you can actually create something. You know what I mean? You can't do this all on your own. So these meetups are so important, so valuable. But you got to know your area. You got to know the community that you're in. You got to know your political district. You have to know what city council district, what state legislature, state rep, state senate, congressional district, county district. All of these different things are so important because you have to understand who this political leadership is in those communities because that's where you can have an impact. But you have to show up. You have to know the people involved. You have to know what's going on, and then you can make a difference. You can start putting plans together, learn which seats are up for election. 2025 has some of the biggest cities across Colorado having elections for mayor, for city council, for other seats potentially, school board. I mean, there's opportunity here to get involved, to get elected, to get pro-liberty people elected to these positions. Well, that's the first step. That's enough for now, but I hope you're on this journey. Let's make Colorado a free state. So take care. Talk to you soon.